Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. Let me set up this room real quick and then we can get started. It's 6:19 right now, so we got about 11 minutes to market open. Today's a very, very heavy news day, so I'm going to go ahead and remind you guys shortly after I get this all set up as to what we're going to be looking out for today. And once this is all set up, we can get started with our analysis of US 30. So let me just get this all set up right now. November 3rd, Wednesday. There's a ton of news today, so let me just pull that out for you shortly. Get this all set up right here. Oh, that's good. You guys, a Zoom link over here. All right, cool. People are making their way in right now, so I'll let that load up shortly. And as people make their way in, we'll start with our analysis. So it's 6:20 right now, guys. We got about 10 minutes till market open, so we still have quite a bit of time. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything all set up now. So. All right, cool. People are making their way in. So guys, just a reminder, today is Wednesday, November 3rd. Today's a very, very heavy news day. So morning, Mauricio, morning, Matt, morning, Maddie, morning, Miles, morning, everybody. I'm gonna let people join in the room real quick and then we'll go over the news and stuff so that everyone's familiar and everyone's on the same page today. Morning, Peter, morning, Matt, morning, S, morning, Miles, morning, everybody. Yeah, people are slowly making their way in. Morning, Fahad. Hopefully everyone had a great week so far. I had a pretty good week. I had one loss on Sunday, which was my mistake. I was trading on my phone. I know I shouldn't have. I got to stop doing that. I just got to stop trading on Sunday. It's like I get this FOMO sometimes because I see a lot of you guys profiting over the weekend and over on Sunday evening that I just, I take trades on my phone when I know I shouldn't be because I don't have all the focus on my phone. I don't have all the indicators and stuff ready to go. So I do make mistakes on Sunday. That's like the only day I make a mistake. Every other day has been good though. So every other day has been on point. It's just always been Sunday. The same thing happened last week. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Orain. Morning, Miles. Miles said, "Whack Wednesday. Be careful, people." Yeah. So people are making their way into the room right now. It looks like we have about. I'll give it a few more minutes because I know I started a little early today. So let's. I'll give it until like 6:24. Once everybody's in the room, we can take a look. And I can start analyzing the news, the fundamentals, retail sentiment, and US 30 technicals. Morning, Professor. Morning, everyone. All right, so let's get started. Today is Wednesday. So if you guys remembered from the news, let me just pull it up for you guys over here. Forex Factory, going over to the calendar. Today is November 3rd, Wednesday. You can see from this morning, we had ADP non-farm employment change at 5:15. And if you guys have been looking at US 30, it's been pretty choppy, right? It's been like consolidating choppiness and then back into consolidation into a big range. So we just had news pass earlier with regard to ADP non-farm employment change. It was actually positive. At 6:45, we have final services PMI. I know it says light news, but I think this is going to impact the market somewhat. It's just light because it says that, they're anticipating that it's going to not really change at all. At 7, we have ISM services PMI. This is going to be high impact. We have factory orders. At 7:30, we have crude oil inventories. And then these are the big ones today. ISM services is going to be big, but also at 11, we have the Fed. So we have the Fomc statement. This is basically the Fed. They're going to make a statement regarding the US economy. This happens once a month. So every month this happens, it's always an unusual trading day. And then at 11, we have the federal funds rate, which is high impact as well. And then at 11:30, we have the FOMC press conference where they're going to answer questions, to the public and specifics with regard to their statement at 11. So today's going to be a big day. It's not just going to be some updates with regard to the economy. It's going to be an actual statement, and then after that, a press conference. So, people could ask questions, and if certain questions get asked, it's going to affect the market one way or the other. So today's going to be pretty risky, and I recommend everyone be very careful if you guys decide to trade today. I don't know if I'm going to trade today. I'll be looking for trades. If I see something really good, then I'll take it. If not, then I'm going to be careful. Looking over here at the fundamentals, so currently the futures data is currently down 66 points or 70 points right now. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's currently 76% short. So with that said, a lot of retail traders are short. What I do anticipate is the market to be bullish today. However, I don't know how bullish it's going to be because we did hit the all-time high yesterday. Going down to the technicals, looking at current price, on the 1 minute, it is bearish. Reason for that is because price was below the pivots and the trend meter was red. Currently, right now, it's trying to make its way to the upside, which we do anticipate. Looking over the 3 minute, same situation. Price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red. So that indicates a bearish bias here on the 3 minute. Lastly, here on the 10 minute, same situation. Price is below the pivots and the trend meter is red. So as you guys can see from the technicals here on the short term side, it looks bearish, right? And the reason for that is because price is below the pivots and the trend meter is red. For the most part, the only difference is the 1 minute here because it's attempting to shift to the upside. However, the last time it did that right here, it just came right back down, right? So you guys want to be careful for that. But I do think eventually it's going to swing back up. We just have to wait and see what happens with the fundamentals when the market opens and whatever the Fed has anticipated for us. Also, you guys want to keep in mind that tapering is going to start today. So if you guys want to, I think it was like FX Newsroom, yeah. I think they announced it on here yesterday. It was a warning about tapering that was going to be starting today. I don't know what happened to it. It was somewhere around here, but you guys will see. I mean, it'll come up on CNBC and whatnot, but today's going to be a really, really risky day to be trading. Also looking at the 1 hour, you can see that it's starting to shift to the downside, but what might happen is price might bounce off the pivot and then swing back up, similar to like what happened over here, right? It came and tested the pivots, then it swung back up. Same situation down here, tested the pivots, and then it swung back up. You guys got to remember that US 30 is a directional asset. So eventually it will, eventually it'll swing back up. It doesn't have to swing back today. It doesn't have to swing back tomorrow, but eventually it will swing back up. Going back over here to the clean chart, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark up like certain time periods so that you guys know what to look out for, specifically from 6:30 to 8, so that you guys can see the direction of price during this specific session. So we got that right there. Let me just scroll up. Morning, Dorothy. Morning, Duggan. Morning, Slava. Morning, Delmas. Morning, Jennifer. Duggan said Europe and Asian markets been swinging again today. Every time the president or prime minister talks at a meeting, very hard to trade, in my opinion. I agree 100%. Morning, Jez. Morning, Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer said, Shawn, do you think we'll break through the high? I don't know if we'll break through it today. I do think we're going to be bullish overall today, but I don't know if it'll happen specifically today because it's a long way to go. The high is like way up here. So, measuring it from here to current price, Jennifer, I mean, you could just measure it from here. You can see that it's about 1,000 pip move. 1,000 pip move might not happen like during the New York session. It may not. I mean, it just depends, right? Because we have a lot of news happening today. But that's kind of like it's a big push. It just depends on how the market wants to move when it opens. If you remember the past couple of days, volatility has been kind of low. It usually picks up on Wednesday. So possibly it could break to the upside, or what might happen is it might break to the upside. And then once it gets high enough, it'll just start ranging again. And then maybe during Asia session, it'll finally break through it. But like it did on, I think it was Monday, that's when it happened because it was slow during New York and then it picked up during Asia. But there's no guarantee, right? The market's always going to be different. Conditions are always changing. That's why we're consistently analyzing the market. A lot of people only analyze the market like once a week, or they trade, like they swing trade and stuff like that. But the market is ever changing, especially on a heavy news day like this. So we'll see. There's no for sure that it's going to happen, but I do think it's going to be bullish. I don't know if it's going to push that high within the next 2 hours or so. I have it marked up here. So this is kind of what we want to see happen. Push up, or this is what might happen. Yeah, push up, retracement, and then push up higher until it goes into consolidation, which should be prior to the all-time high, which should be a little farther down. Right there. So you guys can kind of see my markup right here, right? And then, obviously, what happens from like 8 to 9 is like some weird movement. And then from 9 to 10, same thing again. It's just the same pattern. You want to look for the same pattern to play out pretty much every day. If you see the same pattern, like the smooth pattern, then that's a good sign, because if you see that smooth pattern, then you know exactly where to trade, right? Because you know exactly where it's going to go. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to enter into trades too early. I'm going to make sure that I stay patient and I wait for the market to show me what I need to see before I take these trades, because you never know what's going to happen today, especially with all the news. So, all right, market is now open. We got a momentum signal right there. Let's go back to the 1 minute over here, and you can see prices dumping pretty heavy right now. Good morning, David. All right, so you can see prices dumping super heavily right here. Let's check the fundamentals real quick to see, what could possibly be going on here. So the market opened pretty short, so it's down 102 points right now. Currently looking at the index over here, the Dow index is currently all red, so that's normal. This is a normal movement to the downside, but you can see the huge spike right here, right? Huge spike. This is why we want to be very careful on open, because there's going to be a lot of manipulation going on. Some people don't believe in manipulation. Then what is this if this is a manipulation right here? But I'm going to believe what I know and what I've seen like over the years of trading. This is clearly a huge spike of manipulation, right? Because price should continue to keep dropping, and it should be a strong drop. And the reason for that is because the index is very red right now. So as you guys can see, but now it's swinging back up. So this is why you guys want to be careful on open. Before we used to take the breakout on open, but now the market isn't really as steady as it should be. The fundamentals were initially red, but like I mentioned before, if you guys remember my analysis from the beginning of the session, I said I think the market's going to be pretty bullish overall. So it might be bearish initially to pretty much lure in some more sellers here, because majority of retail traders are short, right? 76% are short. So in order for the market makers and institutions to make a lot of money, they need to stack up these sells so that more sellers join the market. And then as soon as they spike price up, what happens? All those people get stopped out. When they get stopped out, who gets the money? The banks and institutions, right? So the market makers, banks, and institutions. So that's something that you guys want to look out for. So obviously you can see right here, price is starting to swing back up, but it's failing to break past this Asia low right here. So there's a couple key points to be looking at, the Asia low and the London high. There's two areas here to look out for as we analyze the market. But if you guys remember my analysis from earlier, I do anticipate it to be bullish. So I'm not going to be taking any sells. I'll be waiting for the fundamentals to shift to the buy side. Once this shifts up to the buy side, then I'll start looking for buys. But currently right now, I'm not necessarily going to be looking for any sells. You can see the news right here. It said Dow falls slightly from record ahead of the Fed verdict. So this usually when CNBC announces something like this, the market does the opposite. So they announced bad news, and what happened here? Price went up, right? And if you guys have been with K2 for a while, you guys have noticed that that's a pattern. It happens almost every time. So, just something to keep in mind and something to obviously look out for. So you can see prices coming up. The next area to look out for is going to be the London high, which price is like, look, it looks like it's breaking right past it. I'm not going to hop into this right now. So this technically would have been the breakout entry if, whoever's taking the breakout. I know we haven't taken the breakout in a while, but this would technically be the breakout. The reason for that is because this is a strong green candle following the open before 635. So basically the first 5 minutes, if you guys are familiar with the breakout strategy, we look for a strong candle in the direction of momentum. Right here, we have a bullish momentum because we have a buy signal. This was the opening candle right here. There's no sell signal, so no entry for a sell. This right here wasn't a strong green candle, but this was. So this technically would have been the breakout, but I'm not going to take it. I haven't been taking the breakout for the past couple of weeks because of the unusual spikes in price, right? Because price just keeps spiking back and forth. It's just too risky for me to enter these trades. What I might do is I'll wait for it and I'll see how it swings back up. Also, the fundamentals aren't pointing in that direction, so that's why I'm not necessarily looking to take a trade for a buy just yet. Once the fundamentals shift to the buy side, then I'll look for a buy. But currently right now, it's still 57 points in the red. It's not a very strong sell bias. However, I'm looking for it to be bullish before I take that trade, because I want to trade in the direction of the fundamentals. And you can see right here, price is starting to swing right back up, right? But I'm not going to risk it because it's just way too risky for me to hop into that. What I'll be looking for is other scalps within the area. So I'll put the strategies over here real quick so that you guys know what we're looking for. From a pivot scalp, but this would be the breakout. I'll be following it, but I'm not in the position. So just keep that in mind. Another reminder, I'm not in this position, guys. If you guys want to enter it at your own risk. That is the breakout, but I'm not going to be taking it because it's too risky right now. I don't want to trade against the fundamentals. Today is a day that you probably don't want to be taking all too much risk. You might even want to lower your lot size because of the news that's coming out today. The main thing is going to be the Fed. So the Fed comes out at 11, but there's going to be a lot of pre-market moves along the way. Well, not pre-market, but pre-news moves along the way. So here's a snipe entry right here. See if there's any zones around this area. All right. So we got a zone right here. We got a zone right here, I think. See, I need to take this off. All right, so these zones are kind of split up. There's a zone down here. There's a zone right here. And there's a zone right there. Lastly, there's another zone down there. I'll turn this off, turn this back on. So currently looking at this right now, there are no entries currently available for the snipe. There's probably going to be a sell signal that might come up, but we won't know until this candle here closes. Looking at the daily over here, mark this up as well. This is the 630 candle, and here is the daily entry right there. All right, so for the most part, there's no entries that are available just yet. As you guys can see, the breakout over here that I marked up, this is the exact reason why I'm not in this trade, because the fundamentals aren't bullish right now. This might swing back up, but I'm not going to take that risk. Like I was mentioning over here, I'm waiting for this to be bullish. It's currently 58 points in the red, which is not a strong bearish bias. However, it's not a strong bullish bias either, or a bullish bias at all. The main factor that I'm looking for where I anticipate this to swing up is the fact that retail sentiment is short, but you can see the number here is starting to decrease. It was 76% on open, now it's 75. And this is exactly why I wouldn't have taken the breakout, because the fundamentals are red right now. So the fundamentals are red. I'm technically only supposed to look for reds, but I'm waiting for it to swing back up because I do see the swing back up happening at some point. So as you can see right here, this is exactly why I warned you guys not to take this trade and why I didn't take it myself, because this is the same pattern that replays itself over and over again. So I'm going to take this off so that we're not following this anymore. That was just a markup to show you guys where it technically would have been if the fundamentals were pointing towards the upside, but they're not. They're pointing towards the downside. Looking over here at the stock index, I'll refresh this. And this right here is currently majority red. So until this shifts to the green side, then we're not going to look for any buys. And I'm still not looking for any sells either. Until this drops below 100 and stay below 100, then I'll look for sells. But currently right now, the retail sentiment is too short. I don't want to be trading where everyone else is trading, because this is basically a trap being set up for a lot of the retail traders. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw some zones. All right. So I'm going to draw some zones over here so that I can identify where possible rejection points might be happening. So let's see. Right there. All right. All right, so going back to current price over here, you can see price came down, and these same zones that I just drew right now, right? I literally just drew these zones because I looked at previous areas where price bounced. You can see where price bounced off of, right? So I didn't even know this area was here, but looking at this from previous data, price bounced from there in the past. Again, right now, price came for a retest right here, and then another retest right over here. So we'll just wait for price to see what happens here, like as it continues to drop. There's a couple of different areas right here. You can see price came back down, retested this area, and it'll probably just keep dropping lower. I'm just waiting for it to swing back up so that I can take the buys back in the other direction. So nothing right now at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the highs and lows so that we can identify where possible areas of entry would be. Or I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait for it to stop dropping because it's dropping pretty heavily right now. So price right there came back down even further. And I'm just going to wait. So let's see this right here. Now it's down 100 points. So at this point, I would be okay with taking sells because it's a strong sell bias right now. But what happens after a big drop like this? It would have to retrace, right? So I'm going to wait for it to retrace. And then as it continues to drop down lower, then I'll start looking for sells. However, right now, you can see where price came and rejected from, right? I literally drew this line before it even happened. And you can see price came and rejected off it perfectly. So something to watch out for. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw some highs and some lows, and then we'll see if we can catch anything here. This right here technically would have been a sell entry using the pivot scalp strategy, but I wouldn't have taken it because the fundamentals still weren't confirming. And now that the fundamentals are somewhat confirming, we can possibly look for for trades in that direction. So let's see. Let's go back over here, refresh this. We just want to make sure it's stable, right? Now it's currently at 102. It went from 114 to 102. If this swings back above 100 points or under 100 points, then we're not going to want to take it yet. You can see the number here is going back above 100, right? Slowly climbing its way back up. And you can see price climbing its way back up as well, right? And that's why you guys want to wait for price to be stable below that price point, because that's when the bias is going to be set. However, right now, I can almost guarantee this is going to go under 100. And there you go. It's back to 91. It's not stable yet. You guys want to wait for stability before you take these trades, because my bias is still a bullish bias. I'm still looking for a buy. But if this is what the market wants to give us today and shows that it's going to be stable within means below 100, then I'll be looking for sells. That's fine. Your bias doesn't always have to be the same, but my overall bias is still going to be bullish, obviously. Key things to look out for. I think news is coming up soon. Let me refresh this. Today's Wednesday. We have news right now coming up at 6:45. So I'm not going to take any trades from now until then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till 6:45. When the news happens, I'm going to see how price reacts to it, because the market's going to react to news one way or another, right? Especially for news like that. Maybe not specifically for this one, but at 7 for sure. When the ISM services come out, price will either spike to the upside or it'll spike to the downside. No guarantee it's going to spike either way, but odds are it's going to do one of those two things. I still have my low marked up right here, my high marked up right here. Price still has failed to close below this support level that I drew a couple minutes ago. So going back over here to the clean chart. So like looking over here at the clean chart, we're looking for the same exact pattern again, right? So if you guys remember the pattern from yesterday, what we did is we marked up where market opened, which was right here. And we're pretty much going to wait and see what price is going to do from this point. If price is going to come back up and retest this area, or if it's going to continue dropping down. If price ends up swinging back up, then we know exactly what to look out for, right? If price swings back up here, then one of two things are going to happen. It's going to swing back up, or it's going to come right back down. It's the same pattern. But we won't know that until it swings back up, right? So let me go back to the 1 minute over here, and we'll keep watching this until something happens here. Main key price point that we're looking for is going to be this low. If price closes below this point, if it doesn't close below this point, then it might be recovering back to the upside where price initially started, which is going to be this point. This is where price initially opened. So see what happens here. Let me go back to this chart over here, refresh this. It's currently 100. It's under 100 points. What we want to see is that it stays under 100. If it stays under 100, then we'll switch to a sell. But currently right now, it's not very stable. So as you guys can see, price is going up. Whenever price goes up, what happens to the fundamentals over here? This decreases, right? Because they all work they work alongside each other. If fundamentals are bullish, then price is going to swing back up. If fundamentals are bearish, price is going to go down. That's going to be the main point here. And you can see as price moves up, right? What do you think is going to happen here? If I refresh this, do you think it's going to be under 100 points or above? It's probably going to be 100 under. There you go, 93 points. See, so this is how you guys tie fundamentals to technicals. A lot of people don't do that. They just look at the technical side and they think that, oh, price moves directly off technicals. It doesn't. It goes hand in hand with fundamentals, and that's how you know the market is moving how it's supposed to. Because the thing is, if this is down like 200 points and price is pushing up still, that's obviously not going to be, it's not moving in the direction of the fundamentals, right? And that's how you can tell the market's not moving how it's supposed to be. If this number changes in accordance to the technicals over here, then you can see that the market's moving how it's supposed to, because it's supposed to follow the fundamentals here. And you can see the numbers decreasing even more. It was like negative 115, then it went to negative 100, negative 90, now it's negative 85. And the reason for that is because price is pushing back up. Looking over here, you can see my markup, right? So earlier I marked this up just a few seconds ago. What did I say? I said price was either going to come back up, retest the regional price, or it's going to keep pushing down. And look what's happening now. Price is pushing up. So when price reaches this point, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to break through it and continue pushing higher, or it's going to come back down. So my main key point here is to watch this area here, because if price swings above here, then, or if it closes above here and continues pushing up higher, then that's going to be the bias for the rest of the session. If it comes back down, then odds are that's going to be the bias for the rest of the session. It's just, you know, it's about being patient and waiting for those perfect entries. But as you guys can see, it's the same pattern from yesterday. So if you guys were on the live session yesterday, you guys can see that it's doing the same exact thing, right? If I was to mark up yesterday's setup, you guys, or yesterday's time, you know, from the time that we watched, let me see. So we were watching from 6:30 to 8, right? And I can't make this up because you guys could go back and watch the live session and see what happened, because it did exactly what we anticipated. All right, so this is where market opened right here. And look what happened here, right? Price came down and the same exact thing happened at the same exact time too. Look at 6:49. What time is it? 6:46, 3 minutes away. What happened between 6:49 and that point? Price came above here, right? And then I mentioned price would have done one of those two things. It was either going to push back up or it was going to come back down. Price kind of consolidated a little bit, fake people out. And then what happened? It pushed all the way back up. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's the same exact pattern, right? That's why you guys got to be patient and wait for that to play out, because it's, you know, I've been trading US 30 every single morning, like literally every morning for the past, you know, over 3 years now. And when you trade something that much, you start to see patterns, because the same things happen over and over again. It's kind of just waiting for it to happen so that you guys can capitalize on those moves. And that's basically what we're doing here. That's why our win rate here at K2 is so high, because we see the same patterns every single day. And that's why we're able to avoid losses, because when we see stuff like this happening, we don't trade around this area. We wait for it to come up to this point. And then when it gets to that point, once it confirms, then we take trades. You know, we only take maybe, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 max trades a day during the session, but almost all those trades hit because we're waiting for perfect entries. So going back to the fundamentals over here, price is obviously dropping back down, right? So if price is dropping back down below here, price should probably be like, it should be negative 100 or more, right? And as you can see right here, it's negative 12 and then negative 112, because price is moving how it's supposed to. Fundamentals are down. That's why price is coming down. When price goes up, fundamentals should be higher. It's still not stable in my perspective just yet. News just happened right here at 6:45. And it was positive news. So positive news at 6:45. You can see how price reacted to it. It did the opposite. As soon as news came out, it did the opposite and dropped low. But you can see price came back and retested the same area, and looks like it may be shifting back to the upside. So that's a key point. Key point right here is just we're waiting for this to close below this line, which it hasn't done that yet. I'm going to move the high line over here a little lower, because now we have a new lower high. And then right here, if this establishes as the new low, then we're going to change that as well. In order for the low to be established, we need price to move at least 4 or 5 candles past this this specific low right here, and then it'll be established as a new low. Currently right now, price hasn't gone lower than this and it hasn't established this as a new low. So this is still the low at this point. So now that fundamentals are currently red, what we'll be looking for in order to enter a high-low scalp entry would be a close below this point. This is mainly what I'm looking for. I'm waiting for price to close below this point. I know that this is a pivot scalp entry right here. However, I'm not going to enter it yet because the fundamentals still haven't confirmed, right? Like I need that strong confirmation before I enter it, meaning I need this to be below 100 points for like maybe 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes to establish that, okay, hey, price is going to stay bearish for, you know, this time period. And then I can start taking these trades. Because looking at this right now, and this probably hit TP, or it's, you know, it's about to. So this right here, if you were taking this using the pivot scalp strategy, which would be this one right here, let's see if it would have hit right here. Looks like it got really close, but it hasn't hit yet. So a couple of reasons why I wouldn't have taken this trade. And, you know, this is what becomes key. I know these strategies here are very simple, but the key thing is that you guys look at all the other confluences that I also like look at. This isn't the main thing that I look at. This is actually the last thing that I look at for the entry. The first thing I look at is I want to confirm the fundamental bias, right? I want to make sure that the fundamentals are very bearish. Next, I want to confirm the retail sentiment is the opposite direction. I want to make sure the retail traders are on the opposite side. Right now, retail traders are short, right? And if they're short, I don't want to be short with them. So that's why I wouldn't have taken that trade there. That's one reason I wouldn't have taken it. Another reason why I wouldn't have taken it is that it's at this support right here, right? There's like a bunch of different keys that you guys can, you know, put together to determine whether it's a good trade or not. Someone asked yesterday, I think Dorothy asked, you know, how can I determine whether it's a safe trade or it isn't? The more confluence is the better. The less, you know, the more risky it is. But as you guys can see right here, if you took that sell there, that would have hit TP, but it would have been a risky trade to take. So if you apply the pivot scalp, I'm not going to count that trade. I'm just going to show you that it would have been a winner if you took it. However, it would have been a risky winner at that. So right now, currently, this would be a high-low scalp if it closes below here. But like I was mentioning before, guys, I still think it's risky. And the reason for that is because there's so many things pointing the other direction. This candle's not huge, but it would still need to close below here. If it closes below here, if you guys want to take it, you know, you guys can take it at your own risk. I might wait for it to pull back a little bit before I hop in. But it doesn't look like it's going to close below there. So it didn't. So there's no entry right there using the high-low scalp. Reason for that is because it needed to close below here. Now that this is the new low, this is now the new established low until price comes back down. So this low has already been used. This is no longer usable. And the reason for that is because price cannot touch the previous swing low before breaking close. So right here, it broke past it, but it didn't close. So after it did that, it's already used that low. It's no longer usable anymore. So this is now the new low at this point. So yeah, guys, it's just, you know, it's a waiting game right now. Looking at Ensong right here. So Ensong's been trading all morning. Looks like he locked in a total of 4,042. Nice work, Ensong. See if anyone else here locked in any profits so far this morning. Luis as well. So Luis took a couple buys here. So he took one buy here, locked in 27K. That's pretty big. And then he took one loss right there. So definitely great work right there, Luis. And then he, on his other account, he locked in 26K right here. So it looks like he caught the swing up earlier. And then he pulled out of it. Maddie over here locked in a total of 1,586. Nice work, Maddie. So as you guys can see, even though I'm not taking trades, a lot of people here are still anticipating moves, just listening to my analysis here. Vincent as well. Vincent took a couple buys and a couple sells, locked in a total of 1,544. Nice work, Vincent. So, you know, just because I'm not taking trades, guys, doesn't mean that there's no entries available, right? Some people are listening to my analysis here. Like, for example, this analysis where I marked up, where I said price is probably going to come back up. You know, I'm sure a lot of people took that move there. And that's how a lot of people locked into profits here. That's probably what like Luis caught, because he caught the big mover there. He got in at 35,711. Yeah, so I don't know which broker he's using, but the pricing is a little different. It looks like he probably got it somewhere below this point, and then he caught it as it swung back up. So that's key, guys. You know, if you guys are older members here in K2, or if you guys have been here for a while, you guys already know that you guys can take moves off my analysis here. Even though there's no entry that I'm taking, there's still moves that you guys can take as long as you guys know what you're doing. So definitely great work amongst Luis, Maddie, Vincent, and Song this morning. You guys all locked into some pretty nice profit. I'm currently at 0 right now because I haven't taken any trades, but I'm going to be waiting for the confirmation so that I can take some trades. So a new low is established right here. It's down here. And this would possibly be the new high if that becomes the case. I'm going to go and delete these zones right here because they're irrelevant at this point. And we're going to be waiting for some entries. So new high established right here. Let's check out the 3-minute. This right here technically would be the 3-minute breakout, but I'm not going to take it. You know, like I mentioned before, guys, I'm still looking for a bullish move because the problem with this is that the numbers keep shifting. They're still not below here. I mean, it's now below, but I'm waiting for it to confirm. So if it confirms, and maybe I'll hop in for a late entry, this technically would be the 3-minute daily if you guys are applying it. So another reminder, if you guys are new here, or if you guys are just haven't been with K2 for a while, this is a strategy that one of our members created. It was one created by Deswell. You guys are familiar with him. He's the Forex pilot in the group. Basically, he applied the daily strategy on the 3-minute. He waits for the first valid signal after market open, which should be the sell signal right here. And then he enters a sell. So I'll watch it and I'll see if it drops. But, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, guys, I'm not looking to enter any trades right now because we have news coming up at 7. And it's high impact news. So you guys want to be very, very careful. ISM services PMI is coming up at 7. And you guys don't want to get caught in any whipsaws in price. Also, if you're funded, you can't trade certain assets during that time. Majority of the time, it doesn't apply to US 30, but if you're trading Forex, you know, obviously you can't trade any US assets, or you can lose your funded account. So you guys will start to see this once you guys, well, a lot of you guys here are funded, but for you guys who aren't funded, once you're funded, you don't want to take any crazy risks because you could lose your account pretty easily if you, you know, if you over leverage, if you're not consistent, and if you trade during specific news events. I don't think it'll affect US 30, but I'm not going to risk it. So yeah, I'm not in this trade. I'm just marking it up for you guys for whoever's actually in it. I'm still looking for buys. So this whole time I've been looking for buys, and you can see prices starting to shift back to the upside. So let me go over here real quick, and then we'll take a look at, I'm setting an alert right there for whoever's in it. I'm not in the position. I don't recommend anyone take it either. So as you guys can see, prices starting to shift back to the upside, right? Let's go back to my markup over here. You can see prices attempting to retest the opening price right here. So going over here, let's see what the fundamentals are looking like now. It's under 100 points, right? This is what I was just talking about earlier. I'm waiting for it to be stable. It's not stable below 100. When it's stable, then I'll start trading sells. But currently right now, it's obviously not, it's not stable for a sell bias. All right, going back to the charts. All right, so what we're looking for here, guys, is I'm looking for price to come up and test this area. Once it tests this area, we can start determining, you know, what direction we probably want to trade in, because I do see it swinging back up. All right, 6:58 news is coming out in about 2 minutes. When the news comes out, we can determine whether, you know, whether we're going to be looking for some buys or whether we're going to be looking for some sells. All right, retail sentiment kind of stabilized now. It's sitting around 74%, hasn't changed in the last couple of minutes. Looking over here at fundamentals, it's currently at 85 points in the red, now 83 points in the red. Looks like it's starting to make its way to the upside. Looking at the technicals, it's, let's see, how many pips is it from opening price? It's only off by like 200 pips. So it's getting really close to the opening price right there. So let's see what happens. But yeah, as you guys can see, it's, you know, it's playing out. There's a lot of fake outs here that happen. That's why you guys want to be careful and wait for it to actually get to this point. I know some people took some buys here and made some profit as it swung up right here. However, this is a risky way to trade because you might get faked out just like it did right here. And then whoever took the sell right here, you might have gotten faked out right here because it swung all the way back up. So same pattern that played out yesterday. It's going back up to the opening price. Check fundamentals. You can see the numbers are decreasing heavily now. It was like negative 120, not to like negative 100 to negative 90, negative 80, now negative 70. So as the number starts to shift to the upside, then I'll start looking for some buys. Currently right now, it's still dancing around this area waiting for the news event to happen. News is coming in about 26 seconds. When this news release happens, we'll see how price reacts to it. Odds are it's probably gonna be bullish, but we'll see. I mean, who knows? You have another news event coming up at 7:30 too. So see what happens there. All right, news is coming out in about 1 second. There we go. Let's see what happens with price. A couple of signals right there. All right, so price is actually not doing anything right now. Let's refresh this, see where it's at. It was actually positive. So positive news right there for both news events this morning. It was positive for final services PMI and ISM services PMI. Looking at current price, you can see price hasn't done anything. This is where you guys want to be careful, because when price doesn't do anything with regard to high impact news like that, it's probably going to have a late reaction. So within the next couple minutes or so, you're probably going to see some movement to the upside or to the downside. It's just people haven't made moves off the news event just yet. People are doing the same thing we're doing. They're just waiting. They're waiting to see what the big players are doing, you know, the institutions, market makers, banks, whatnot. They're waiting to see how they react to the news. Once they react to the news, then we can piggyback on that, or we can just wait for it to settle out. Because sometimes you'll see a spike one direction and they'll just come right back. So, you know, something to be looking out for. But the main thing that we're watching here is we're watching to see where price goes with regard to the opening price above here. And you can see price is still bouncing around this area. So going back to this 1 minute chart, the new high has been established right here. However, the problem with this is that price came in and retested this area right here. So it's a little risky. I think Maddie's probably looking to take the variation, but I mean, it's kind of too late for me to take it myself. So yeah, I don't know if you took that, Maddie. It's just too risky. I'm not going to take it. I'm tempted to take it, but probably not. And the reason why I don't want to take it, Maddie, is because I'm waiting for price to react to the news. Price hasn't reacted to the news yet. Yeah, Maddie said just watch it because of news. No, I agree. Same here. Yeah, I want to avoid the sells right now because, and it might hit, but it might not. I mean, who knows? It's probably gonna hit, and it'll swing right back up. So it might come down, test the pivot, and then swing all the way back up. But yeah, I'm trying to avoid sells right now because the news here is all positive. So what I kind of see happening here is I see them kind of they're just pushing price around back and forth to see where people are trading, and you can see here price is starting to swing right back up. It's exactly why I wouldn't have taken the sell. So as you guys can see, it's kind of like a little pattern. It's starting to range right here. So I think they're trying to range it a little bit, trying to see how many people hop into the sells or how many people hop into the buys. When the retail traders choose a side where they want to trade, then they'll spike price either down or they'll spike it either up. And then eventually I do see it coming right back up. But they're going to spike price wherever, you know, majority of retail traders are. So I know a lot of people don't like to believe that their brokers sell their stop losses, but I'm pretty sure they do. So they're trying to determine where everyone's stop losses are, right? So like, for example, if you're a market maker and you're trying to manipulate price to make more money, what would you do? You want to see where everyone's stop losses are, right? If there's more stop losses in this area, like people who are playing the news, because you see people play the news all the time, right? What happens is people play the news and they'll enter a trade and they'll have a stop loss really tight. So what they're looking for is where everyone's stop losses are. Are they more on the bottom or more on the top, right? If there's more on the top, then this is a pattern that you guys probably see all the time when news comes out. They'll spike price up, they'll stop you out, and then it'll come right back down, right? Or vice versa. If there's more stop losses on the bottom side, what do you think is going to happen here? They'll spike price down, stop everybody out, and then they push it right back up. And then you're like, damn, I should have just not traded news because stuff like that happens all the time. It's all, it's all a game. It's all a psychological game. Trading is all like, it's like 10% trading and like 90% psychological, guys. It's all like trade psychology. If you guys can understand what everyone else is doing and you're doing the opposite, odds are you're probably going to succeed at trading. And that's what we've been doing. That's why we look at retail sentiment, because I generally don't want to trade where everybody's trading. Whenever I see traders on the short side, I'm looking for buys. Whenever I see traders on the buy side, I'm looking for shorts. And that's how I've been able to do this consistently every single day. I trade live every day. I can't make this stuff up because it's the same thing every day. Like literally we look at the same thing every day and it obviously works. And you can't fake live. Like you can fake showing trades and results at a later point, but you can't fake doing stuff live, me analyzing it live and stuff actually playing out the way that we analyzed it. So, you guys can trade however you guys like to, but this is how I trade and obviously it works. So I'm going to keep trading this way, but it's just it's a game of patience right now. We're just waiting. Because price is going to spike up either way. You can see price is now currently ranging sideways. It's going to have to spike up either way. There's no way it's not going to. It's going to spike up, spike up, or it's going to spike down, one or the other. The range might widen a little bit slightly, but until we have that big push in the other way. So as you guys can see, price is starting to come down a little bit, right? Let's see. So either price is going to come down right here, or it's going to come down right here, or it's going to come down here. These are like areas that I'm looking for where people place their stop loss. For example, if someone's entering a buy, where's their stop loss going to be? It's going to be at the previous swing, which would either be right here if they entered at this point right here, or it'd be down here if they entered at this point right here. Or, if they wanted to put it super far, they'd put it all the way down here. So what I can kind of see happening is I could see price coming down slightly to stop people out and then swing right back up in the other direction that people anticipated it to go. Because I've gotten caught in this trap all the time. Before I used to trade news because I thought news was so fun, right? You trade news and you make money real quick, or you could lose money real quick. Sometimes you lose money both ways because you'll get faked out. It'll stop you out and then you'll shift to a sell. And then as soon as you shift into a sell, it spikes up and it stops you out twice. And I know it's happened to a lot of you guys because it's happened to me a lot of times too when I first started trading. So I have these areas right here drawn up. You can see price is literally just going sideways right here on this point. This is now the new range within this area. Going over to the fundamentals, and this is the trickiness that I was warning you guys from the beginning. We knew this was going to happen. It's now negative 100 points, but it's not very solid below there. Right here, you can see the shorts are starting to add up, right? It went from 74% to 75. So what I see happening from my perspective, from like my experience trading NFP, is they're going to keep stacking up these sells. So as you can see, price came down to this point. I see they're going to keep stacking sells to lure into more sellers. And then, within given time, it's going to swing all the way back up to stop everybody out. So we'll see what happens here. This is no longer the low. And the reason for that is because this candle right here broke past it, right? This is the low that was established. It's 1, 2. It's only 2 candles. In order for it to be established, you need 4 or 5 candles. So with that said, this is now the new low below here. And the range is now getting wider. All right. So it's a choppy day again today. It's another day of choppiness in the market. However, I'm waiting for that to swing back up. Let's see when the next news event's happening. The big news event's happening at 11. So I think by 11, you're probably going to see a spike back to the upside. At 7:30, we have crude oil inventories. It's supposed to be positive news as well. So it was 4.3 last month. Now it's supposed to be 1.9 mil, meaning that they sold a lot of oil, which is a good thing. So crude oil inventories, I think that's going to be a good thing for us. This is the big thing though at 11, the Fomc statement. All right, so another low is established below here. And you guys can see the range is starting to get wider, right? The range is continuing to get wider and wider, but I'm still being patient, waiting for these trades to come up because there's obviously nothing here for me to take at this point. So let's see. Jennifer is asking, Do you know any other brokers that have retail sentiment online like IG? Personally, I don't. IG is the only one that I personally know of. Yeah, Maddie confirmed that the retail sentiment is currently 75% short now. So yeah, this number is starting to increase, which is a good thing. The thing that I don't like is that the fundamentals are currently moving in the direction of the retail sentiment. So I'm basically waiting for the dip, guys. Like I'm waiting to buy the dip. I do think it's going to come back up eventually at some point, because when the Fed speaks later, I think it's going to be positive news. On the other hand, if Biden speaks later, then you already know what's going to happen. Price is probably going to drop. So I don't know if Biden's speaking today. Let me check the news real quick. Okay, so FAA Administrator Steve Dignan testifies regarding aviation safety. I don't think this is necessarily going to affect the market too much. Actually, it might affect the market because I think Boeing is part of the Dow 30, right? Are they still part of the Dow 30? Yeah, so Boeing is still part of the Dow 30. If you guys remember, Boeing had a couple plane crashes last year. So that's probably going to affect it. Are they negative right now? Let's see. Yeah, they're actually negative right now too. They're not that negative. They're negative about 1 point, but Boeing is, I mean, there's a couple stocks here that will affect it. So like, there's some things here that aren't going to be directly affected, but you know, aviation, whatnot, there's always going to be something that affects something. So you guys kind of just have to use your logic to tie things together. Obviously, it's going to affect Boeing. They're negative right now. You know, I don't know if any of these other companies have stakes in Boeing or any aviation company, but you know, a lot of people think that this stuff doesn't affect the market. It affects almost everything, because a lot of these companies here have stakes in aviation companies. I don't know if there's any, not plane companies, but travel companies here too. Yeah, not anymore. I think Southwest used to be on here like a long time ago, but not on here anymore. Amex, JP Morgan. Yeah, no, that stuff. Okay, so this is what's going on right now. I don't have any news updates of like Biden speaking today. Looking at the other futures for today as well, everything's pretty much red. The Dow's red, S&P's red, Nasdaq's red. The only thing that's up right now is the Russell 2K and the VIX, but they're not very up. They're, you know, they're kind of just right down the middle. Let's see. So the news right here anticipates the NFP news to be good. So it says that companies add 571,000 jobs in October thanks to the big boost in hospitality hires. So they're probably expecting price to be bullish by Friday, because Friday is NFP. You guys remember NFP, non-farm payroll. If there's more jobs being added, the news on Friday is probably going to be good. So what I'm anticipating now is I'm anticipating a bigger push to happen by the end of the week. So I'll go to like a higher chart over here. So pretty much by Friday, what is today? Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is going to be Friday over here on the 7th. We might see a downwards spiral for a bit, or not really that far, but it's probably going to consolidate a bit and just go sideways. But I think by Friday, when NFP is actually released, we're going to have a big swing back to the upside. And that's probably when the new all-time high is going to be broken again. Because you just got to like use your logic, right? If the thing is, if the non-farm payroll is going to be super high, and that's kind of what I'm looking at right now too, especially with the news that's coming out of the Fed in the next couple hours. They're going to release their statement at 11. If the jobs are good and everything's good, I mean, everything here is pretty much good news, right? So if you look at the news from today, this is all green. So it's good news today. Also looking at the, so this is where you guys could tie your logic. If everything here is green, price is supposed to go up, right? If the economy is good, there's more jobs added, you know, final services is good, ISM is good, services, IM services is good, PMI. What do you think price should do? It should be going up, right? So that's kind of what I see happening here. I see it charging up for a bullish move at some point. It might not happen right now, might not happen today or tomorrow, but eventually it's going to push up, because if all of this is good right here, and we're anticipating Friday's NFP news to be good as well, this is probably where the big push is going to happen. So this is what I mean about being patient, and not just hop. I mean, you could hop into these sells here if you want. You know, there's nothing wrong with hopping into these sells. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for those guaranteed moves. Like I'm looking for that guaranteed push to the upside. And as you guys can see right here, let me just take this off. We're not looking at the 3-minute anymore. Let's turn this off right here. Going back to the 1-minute chart. you can see price start to bounce back up, right? So as you guys can see, I drew these areas right here where I anticipated stop losses to be, right? So this area right here, and then this area right here, right? So as you guys can see, a lot of people who try to bandwagon onto these moves for these sells are going to get burnt, because you can see price comes to this point. As soon as it triggers a stop loss, it spikes down slightly for that liquidity, and then it pushes right back up. Right. So this is why I didn't want to enter any sells yet. I'm still waiting for it to swing up, because my anticipation is that price is going to swing up eventually, but it's going to take some time. I think what I would do now is I'll probably start drawing some liquidity zones. Not yet, but eventually I'm going to start drawing some liquidity zones, because the retail sentiment is starting to increase higher and higher. Still 75% right now. Looking over here at fundamentals, it's now under 100 points. So as you guys can see, it's not very stable. Whenever it goes 100, it just swings right back up. There was another sell scalp right here. So there's a lot of entries here that are available, guys. You know, obviously I'm not taking the trades, but if you guys are taking them, it looks like you guys would have made some nice profit along the way, because there was a couple of sells right here. So all three sells that came up today, they were all good trades, but they didn't fit my criteria with regard to my fundamentals, retail sentiment, and technicals. So looking at this strategy right here, and I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to count these trades, but I'm just going to show you guys that the trades are still hitting. Even though they're hitting and I'm not taking them, they're still hitting, right? So looking at this pivot scalp strategy, you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. Right here, we have a valid sell. You want to confirm prices below the K2 pivots for a sell. Right here, it's below these two lines, which are the pivots. You would enter right here for a sell, and you go for 100 pips. So if you took that trade right there, full TP, right? And I'm just showing you guys that the strategy still works, even though I'm not applying it myself, due to the fact that it doesn't fit my confluences. So again, right here, one win. Again, right here, confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. Valid sell below the pivots. You enter again right there for another short. You go for 100 pips. You let that run, and there you go, full TP again right there, right? And then price comes back down. Here's another one right here. And technically, if you're just following the strategy, just how it is without using the extra confluences, you can see that the strategy still works perfectly fine. It's just for me, I don't like taking a risky trade. So again, right here, another sell, 100 pips. And there you go, another full TP. So there's a lot of full TPs hitting right here. I know that they're hitting because I see a lot of people here posting their profits and sending them to me, like Gene Vaughn over here. Gene Vaughn's currently up 1,300, and his other account over here 855. Nice work, Gene Vaughn. Doing good. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm currently waiting for it to swing back up. So I just want to show you guys that, you know, if you guys know the strategies here, you guys can apply them all on your own, even though I'm not taking them myself because I do find them to be risky. But yeah, you know, congrats to you guys here who are taking them. The thing with me, guys, is that I'd rather not take a trade than, you know, risk it. Because the thing is, if we take a loss, that's going to set me back a little bit. And I don't like taking any losses. Like if I have one loss for the day, it's going to ruin my entire day because we just never lose. And when we do lose, that usually indicates that, you know, you should probably just sit out the market. So these here are still hitting, which is perfectly fine, but I'm still waiting for it to shift back to the upside. So let me just go and refresh this right here. It's currently down 113 points. Retail sentiment is currently 75% in the red, 74 now. You guys can see that it's not very stable, right? This thing just keeps changing back and forth. If this would continue dropping lower and lower, going down to 75, 76, 77, then that's great because we want retail traders to continue, you know, following each other so that we can trade the opposite. Same with and stay below. Go to 113, refresh it, and then either, you know, it's at 105 now. It's going to be below 100 again. So it's just a risky area, a risky time to be trading, and a risky time to be taking, you know, trades that are uncertain. So that's just me. But if you guys want to take these trades, you know, it's really up to you. I just really don't want to lose any trades on NFP because that's going to piss me off because I already know it's risky, right? Like the thing is, I know it's risky and I know I shouldn't be trading. So if I force a trade and I lose it, I'm going to be upset because I know I knew I should have just waited and not have taken the trade there. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have felt that way before. All right, so price broke above here. If this closes above here, this would technically be a high-low entry. One thing that I'm just, I'm concerned with is that the fundamentals are still not green. So that's why I don't want to take the trade yet. But you can see right here, it's below 100 points. So let's see this. How big is this candle right here? And another thing is that this candle is it's way too long right now. It's like 200 pips. And it doesn't look like it would have to close above here in order for it to be valid. So I'll mark it up here. If you guys want to take it. But make sure that you guys understand your risk and you guys understand that this is a very risky trade. And it doesn't even close above there. So no entry off that. So as you guys can see, price is super indecisive. Huge wick on the top side. Also, price didn't close above here. In order for there to be an entry using the high-low scalp, price would need to break and close past the previous swing. This was a previous swing. Price needed to break and close above here, which it didn't. So there's no entry available. And this is like the worst market today. I thought it was going to be better on Wednesday because there was a lot of news. So I figured price was going to be more volatile, but it isn't. It's kind of just going sideways, bouncing back and forth. Let's go back over here. All right, so I'm gonna just take this stuff off right here so that you guys can see how nasty this market is. So let me just zoom out real quick. You can see that there's no direction at all, right? So like looking at price came up, then after it came up, it broke below here, and now it's just been going sideways this entire time. It's been in a range this whole time, like a really big range. So if we mark that up from there, and then we mark it up from here, you can see that price doesn't really do anything, right? It's just going back and forth. And this range right here is about 600 pips. So it's not very much. It's probably going to range a while until we reach the FOMC at 11. I think we have another news event coming up shortly. It's Crude Oil Inventories, which is supposed to be positive as well. Yes, we have crude oil right here at 7:30. So guys, if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever questions you guys have, but hopefully you guys understand the reason why we're being careful today. There's just a lot of factors coming into the market that are going to highly affect the market. And I just don't want to take the risk, right? As you guys shouldn't either. One thing that you guys need to remember is that risk management is always going to be the most important thing. Knowing when to trade, knowing when not to trade, that's going to be the most important thing, because the problem with a lot of traders is you guys know how to win, but you guys don't know how to lose. That's the main key. I see a lot of people win almost every day, and then they have one day like this where I say it's risky and they decide to trade. And what happens? They lose all their profit from like Monday and Tuesday. And they're upset because they knew that they could have just set up the market and not traded instead of taking risky trades to make a couple bucks. Like I'll see people make like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 like Monday through Tuesday, and then Wednesday, if it's like an NFP week like this week, they take trades on a day that they know they shouldn't, and then they lose all of it. And they're like, damn, if I just wouldn't have traded, I would have kept all that profit that they made Monday, Tuesday. So you guys want to be careful with that. Henry's asking, what time frames and pairs do you trade in Forex? I don't trade Forex anymore, but generally Fire Tablet said, just lost all my profit not listening to you. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you guys. So like, and it's fine, Fire Tablet. At least you understand that you could have done something different. And I'm glad that I didn't trade today, because I probably would have made some profit, or I also would have lost some. But going back to Henry's question, Henry's asking what time frames and pairs do I trade during Forex? It's the same things that we went over before, Henry. It's everything here on the watch list. Everything off the K2 watch list. These are all the pairs that I watch. And I only trade on the 4-hour for Forex, but I haven't traded Forex in a long time. I don't really trade it anymore because there's really no point. I've already pretty much mastered US 30. So I'm just going to stick with US 30, and I'm going to keep getting better and better at it. I'm pretty good at it already, but I just want to keep focusing on one asset. And that's one thing that I want to remind you guys as well. When I first started trading, that's why I have such a big watch list here, because I used to trade everything. One thing that I started to notice, or started to realize over my years of trading, I've been trading for about 11 years now. I started to realize that you're better off just focusing on one asset. Find one pair that you like and just master it. Because like for me, I started trading US 30 about 3 years ago. And when I started trading US 30, I started to see these same patterns that come up every single day. So that's why I'm able to have such a high win rate. And it's why I rarely lose, because when I see something happen, I already know what's going to happen next because I've seen it happen before. So what I do recommend is if you guys want to get really good at trading, like, and I mean really good, like, very consistent, rarely lose ever, just find one app you like. A lot of people who like GJ, that's perfect. If you like GJ, master GJ. If you want to master your USD, master your USD. The problem with my trading that I started to realize where I became inconsistent was that I was trading too many things. Like I would trade all these pairs here, literally every single pair here. And then what would happen is I'd win a couple, like I'd win pretty much all the USD pairs, all the majors. And then when I trade something risky like EN or something like that, or GN, I would lose all my profits. I'm like, damn, if I just stuck to like the USD pairs, I would have not have taken any of those losses. And that's pretty much all the stuff there. Steven is asking if I can update the indicator. Yes, Steven, you got to wait until I'm done with the session, bro. I'm here on the session right now. So I can't go off the session and update your indicator. Guys, like if you guys ever sign up to K2, don't ever sign up like right before the live session, right? Because if I'm going on the live session, I'm on this live session for like an hour and a half. So I'm not able to go over and update your indicator while I'm on this live session because I'm doing something right now. So, just a reminder to like other people, if you guys ever sign up to K2 or you upgrade to the indicators, do it the night before. If like you had the opportunity to do it like hours before, do it hours before, and then I'll update it. But if you guys do it like right before, right, or an hour before, I'm not going to be able to update it because I'm busy doing other things. So yeah, Steven, I'll do that after once the session's done. But I mean, I did see your message there. You literally messaged me like while I was on the live session. Yeah, at 6:20. I was already on the live session at 6:20. So you guys gotta manage your time properly and understand that if I'm on a live session, you're not going to take priority over the live session. But I'll do that after we're done. See, I'm going to get off around 8 o'clock. So in the next 30 minutes, you can get the indicator, but I can't do it for you right now. All right, going over to Henry. Henry asked, would your USD be the best pair to trade for Forex? There's no best pair, Henry. I feel like a lot of people are looking for the holy grail. There's no holy grail here. Like literally you can trade anything you want. If you're good at your USD, Henry, then you're good at your USD. If you're not good at it, then don't trade it. The only way to know if you're good at it is if you actually practice and try it yourself. You're never going to get good at anything unless you actually do it yourself. I can tell you any pair here. I'll tell you odd USD is the best pair. And then if you go do it and you still suck at trading odd USD, then it's obviously not your pair, right? So Henry, I think you got to stop looking for the perfect answer, and you got to go and practice and learn stuff on your own, because you're never going to get better unless you do any actual work. So going back to what I was just looking at right now, let me go down to the questions. So Henry, your USD is a good pair. It's a good pair to trade, but it's a good pair for me. I don't know if it's a good pair for you. So what I would recommend is you go and test it out, apply whatever strategy you want to it, get good at that strategy. And then once you're good at it, then you'll know that it's a good pair for you to trade. Paul said, I only made roughly 400 today. I'm happy considering the shitty market. No, I agree, Paul. I didn't take any trades myself. So, we're just here waiting for this as we wait for something to happen. Obviously, you can see prices starting to make its way up, but it's not really doing anything. It's still ranging to the side. Going over to the other chart over here. Here's the high. Here's the low. Still no movement right here. The range is getting tighter, which is good. However, there's still no confirmation of any entries here. So as you guys can see right here, the range is getting tighter. And this is a good thing, because if the range gets tighter right here, price is going to break out at some point. It's going to break out to the upside, or it's going to break down to the lower side. So, and we have news coming up in about 2 minutes. So thanks, Jose, for reminding me. We have crude oil inventories coming up shortly. It's supposed to be positive news. This technically right here would be a high-low scalp if it does close above this line. But if it doesn't, then there's no entry, and this is now going to be the new high. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else right here. A couple of people sending their profits. RJ over here locked in a total of 6,068 today. Nice work, RJ. Yeah, so RJ has been trading both ways. He's been taking buys and sells, mostly buys though. So as you can see, RJ is looking for the same thing I'm doing. He's looking for that bullish bias. So he's waiting for it to swing back up. He's catching the buys as they swing up right here. So great work right there, RJ, with those profits. Maddie over here, he took the buy as well, 723. Yeah, he took the variation right there. A lot of you guys don't know the variation. It's not one that I'm going to teach you guys, but if you guys do understand how it works, obviously it's a very lucrative strategy. Looking at this high right here, priced it and break and close above it. So there's no entry there. This is now the new high. So other than that, let's see. Other than that, we have news coming up in about a minute. So in 1 minute, we will check out the news right now. See Josh over here. Nice, Josh. Yeah, Josh is currently in a couple trades as well. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. Let's see, Cheryl sent some profits as well. Cheryl is currently in profit about a little over 1,000 today. So she said sucky day for her so far. And no, I agree. I'm in the same position, Cheryl. I haven't taken any trades myself. At least she made some profit. That's key. All right, so news is coming up shortly. Let's see. The news is coming up. Oh, it's already here. So let me just go and refresh that real quick. So the news is actually, I mean, it was positive, but it was not as strong as they were anticipating. So it was previously it was 4.3. Where's it at? Previously it was 4.3 million inventory. Now it's 3.3. They were anticipating it to be at 1.9. That they were going to sell a lot, but they haven't. So while it is still good, it's not. It's below what they anticipated. So going back over here, you can see prices starting to be a little bit more bullish. And you can see prices now pushing back to the upside. So guys, let me just take these off. The area that we're still looking for is still going to be this price point right here. This is the opening price from market open. So as you guys can see, it's still pushing up to where we marked up from here, but it hasn't really established yet. Once price breaks and closes above this line, then we can anticipate this to be the point to determine, which direction price is going. Looking over here at the fundamentals currently right now, it's 81 points, or now it's 75 points in the red. It's now not under 100. So everything's kind of lining up to what we were anticipating. Retail sentiment is still at 74%. But now the fundamentals are starting to shift to the upside. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be looking for, no, actually I'm not. I was going to draw some liquidity zones, but it's still too early for that. The retail sentiment isn't as strong as it should be, or as strong as we want it to be. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. If you guys need me to do something other than on here on the chart, then that'll have to wait until after the live session. So if you guys need anything updated, if you guys need anything changed, if you guys need anything, any specific personal help with your trading, that's not, that you guys don't want to share with the general public, then you guys will just have to wait for me to get off this live session, because obviously we're on the live right now. So once this is over, I can go and answer those specific questions, because I do have a lot of questions over here right now currently with regard to personal things here. So Eunice said, "Hi, Shawn, I have a meeting today, not trading today. It'll also be risky, so I'm staying out. Wish you all a happy trading day." So yeah, Eunice, you guys are familiar with Eunice. Eunice is usually trading with us every day. He has like €1,000 goal that he reaches almost every day. He just, he basically wanted to tell us happy trading to everybody. And that he's staying out because it's too risky. So smart move on Eunice. He understood the risk in the market today. So he just set out the market, which I probably would have too, but I'm only on here because of the live session. So let's see. All right, so let me see if there's anything else here right now. Not really much for us to look at. So if you guys have any other questions, keep dropping them in the chat. Otherwise, we might just be wrapping up the session a little early today, because we don't really have much to look at. Usually I'm done trading by 8. I don't even see anything coming up right now. So if I don't see anything come up, then there's really no need for me to be on the session to take any risky trades, because I already know my FOMO is going to kick in, and then I'm probably going to be I'm going to try to take some risky trades, which I know I shouldn't. So let's go over here to the 10-minute. Nothing off the 10-minute. There's a pending buy here off the daily. It still has 5 minutes left in it, and it has to be valid. So looking at the daily entry right here, in order for us to take this trade, it needs to be a valid buy. And then it also needs to close with a green candle. So if it closes with a green candle, it's valid. And this would technically be an entry using the daily strategy here. So we'll keep that marked up and we'll come back to look at it a little later. But currently right now, let me see if there's anything else right here as well. All right, we have a question from Caitlin. Caitlin's asking, how do you get the names of each session high-low to show up, Shawn? So if you want to get the names right here on the side, just right-click on your chart, go to settings, go right here to indicator name value or indicator name label. If you take that off, there's no names there, right? If you turn it on, the names go on there. Another thing, if you guys want these numbers here, I know some people don't have them. So normally this is what it looks like. It's just a line. If you want the names there, turn on the names. If you want the numbers right there, turn on the numbers. And then you'll have it exactly how I do right here. That's pretty much it. Sure, no problem. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop your questions. Otherwise, I'll keep looking for certain trades within the next couple of minutes. If I don't see anything, I'll get off the live session. And then I'm going to help other people with their more personal stuff after. So let me see if there's anything else for us to look at. And today's it's just a bad day to trade, guys. If you guys were here from the beginning, you guys saw that there's a lot of news this morning. The non-farm employment change, the ISM news here. Even though this stuff didn't really affect the market too much, it's just a risky day. The main thing that you guys want to be careful for is going to be the Fomc statement at 11. This is going to be the most important thing. Obviously, if you guys have been looking at the chart, there hasn't been very much movement, right? So price opened right here. You can see that it's only moved up about 200 pips. It's only moved down about 700 pips. So Jenny, if you remembered from this morning, you were asking if we're probably going to hit the all-time high. You guys can see how wide the range is, right? It's not a very big range. It didn't push more than 1,000 pips. In order for it to reach that point, there would have to be some high volatility. We're expecting a lot of volatility this morning, but there wasn't. Even though there was a lot of news events, you would expect some spikes in price to happen because of this stuff, but we can probably anticipate those spikes to happen in the next couple hours. So maybe around 10, 11, 12, around that area, you're probably going to see the bigger spikes in price to the upside or to the downside. So what I do recommend is if you guys do decide to trade later, either lower your lot size or always remember to move your stop loss in profit as price continues to move up. Because you're probably going to get caught in some whipsaws. And if you guys aren't familiar with whipsaws, that's basically when price comes up and then it comes right back down. And then in some instances, it even goes right back up. So it's kind of like a whip, right? It goes up, down, and then right back up. And these are like big spikes. Like there's spikes of like 500 pips or more. And the reason for that is because a lot of people are going to be betting on the FOMC. And by betting, I mean people are either going to be on the long side or they're going to be on the short side. They're going to be taking big positions because they're going to be gambling, determining what they're going to be announcing. My guess is that it's going to be bullish. So I think price is going to be bullish by that point. So say we get to 11, right? So 11 is right over here. So this is 11. This is when the statement comes out. If price is still ranging down here, then I anticipate price to at least be past this point. So I expect price to be in some area here in this vicinity. If that's what happens, and that's a big if, because there's no guarantee that's going to happen. But if it does become bullish and they release good news, regarding the U.S. economy, then I do anticipate to push up above the opening price and past the London high right here. So that's something to, possibly keep in mind. So, yeah, guys, I just don't see anything available right now. Let me see if I can find something. I'm hoping I can cash at least one trade myself before I get off this live session. But if I don't, that's completely fine. This right here would technically be an entry using the pivot scalp strategy off the 1 minute. However, I still do find it a little risky because the fundamentals here are still not bullish. They're still bearish. and there's no entry there as well. Yeah, in order for there to be an entry, it would have to be a valid buy signal, but it hasn't closed with that valid buy signal just yet. Randy's asking, would you go through that explanation again where price is pushing higher maybe? Yeah, Randy, I mean, there's no specific price point where it would go. The only area that I would expect it to go above would be the opening price right here. So, and then it's going to have some resistance once it reaches the London high right here. So what I do anticipate is that it's probably going to come above here. This price point right here is going to be 35,996. If the news is bullish, then I do anticipate it to push above there at some point. That's going to be the main key price point right there. We're still looking for price to come and retest it right here. It hasn't came and retested it yet, right? So when price does come and retest that point, price is going to do one of two things. It's either going to continue pushing up higher, or it's going to come back down. So that's pretty much the number that you want to look for, Randy. But there's no specific area where it's going to go. That's only if the news is positive. But the problem with that is that when the news does come out, you're probably going to see some whipsaws as price moves back and forth. So the key that you want to look for is going to be this right here, 35,996. Miles said US freaking 30 is looking like a porcupine right now, SMH. Yeah, no, exactly. There's no direction that's been set. You know, if you go back to yesterday, at least yesterday there was direction. So currently right here, there's like literally nothing, right? Price is kind of just going sideways this entire session going into yesterday. You guys can see here that yesterday price was actually going directional to, you know, to some extent. It wasn't going very directional, but it was going somewhat directional. So like from 6:30 to 8 right here, you can see that price was moving to the upside, right? That's what we want right here. We want price to move directional. Comparing this right here to where current price is, this isn't directional at all. It's just been going sideways. So what might happen is once I get off this live session, it might move directional to the upside. Once it reaches this point, this is going to be key to where direction is going to be set. Rick said 4,500 losing days in a row. Another rough week. Yeah, what happened, right? I think you took like some risky trades, right? Because yesterday I didn't have any losses. Let's see. Yeah, so my trades for this whole week, I haven't been doing so bad. Like yesterday, I had all wins. These are during live session. And then after, and then also the day before that. I mean, I had one loss on Sunday, but that was my bad because I was trading on my phone. And I was also trading like on Sunday when I know I shouldn't be trading. So thankfully, I haven't done that bad. I've been in profit yesterday. My profit yesterday was about like a little over 2,000, and then, oh no, that was on Monday. So Monday was like a little over 2,000, and then yesterday I was in profit too, nearly like 2,000 across both accounts. So thankfully, like I'm just being a little careful here, and this is why I do recommend that you guys be careful as well, because the main key here, guys, is to not lose. Right? You guys can win as much as you want, but the real skill comes in avoiding losses. That's going to be the main thing for you guys. So as you guys can see, price is currently making its way up to this line right here, which is the opening price. When price reaches that point, just remember price is either going to break above it and continue pushing up, or it's going to break below it. I think it's going to continue pushing up, in my opinion. I probably wouldn't be entering any trades until this turns bullish though. So I'd be waiting for this to turn green. Once it turns green, then yeah, maybe it'll start pushing to the upside. However, right now, it's making its way back up there. So that's basically what I'm looking for. Miles said it's official. I'm sticking with calling Wednesday Whack Wednesday. Yeah, no, today does kind of suck. I mean, obviously I was hoping for at least one trade. I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here profit though. Going over today's profit. Let's see. So Cheryl locked in about a little over 1,000. RJ locked in 6,000 right there. Gene Vaughn locked in 1,300 off that account. His other account 855. Vincent locked in 1,544. Maddie locked in 1,586. Luis locked in 26,000 off this account. He caught that big move to the upside. And then his other account right here, 25K. Ensong as well locked in a total of 4,042. And then I think that's about it for this morning. Patricia here just sent in her profits. She locked in a total of 550. Nice work, Patricia. She said a very conservative day, which is smart. And then Brian over here killed it. Look at Brian. So this whole week, Brian has just been on point. Pretty much a bunch of wins right here. So for this week so far, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Brian is currently up 7,000, 8,000, well over 10,000 for the week. So big congrats to you, Brian. So Brian over here said, you know, good start to November. Now we'll go enjoy the rest of the day. So great work, guys. You know, as you guys can see, I didn't take any trades myself, but Brian's still locked in about 5,000 for the day. So as long as you guys know what you're doing and you guys know the strategies here, you guys can easily lock in profits like that. You know, you guys, just because I'm teaching you guys this stuff doesn't mean that you guys can't do better than me, right? I have 0 profits today, but a lot of other people here have way more than it would have been anticipated, you know, with these kind of market conditions. So as long as you guys are listening to what I'm talking about here with regard to the risk, with regard to what to look for when price reaches certain areas, you guys can easily make profit, even though I'm not doing it myself, because I'm on this live session. A lot of people don't understand that when I trade live, I can't be calling risky trades, because if I call risky trades and people lose, people are going to go nuts, right? People are going to get upset. That's why I always give you guys the option to take the trade or not. If I'm not taking the trade, it's a risky trade, and I don't think it's going to be almost guaranteed. If I'm taking it, then yeah, I'm like super set, and I think that trade's going to for sure hit. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to understand when trading and understanding, you know, risk. Because a lot of people don't understand risk. They think every trade is going to be guaranteed almost every time, but that's not how the market works. All right. Anyways, looking at the current price right now, there's nothing available. It's 6:45 right now, so it's getting close to 8. So if you guys have any other questions, you know, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat right now. Otherwise, I'll be signing off in about, you know, 5 minutes or less. It's getting close to 8, and I just don't have anything for me to take anyways right now. So there's no point in me sitting on this session unless there's something, unless I'm needed for something, right? So I'm going to wait here. I'm going to see if price finally breaks above this point. If it breaks above this point, I'm going to try to sneak in a buy using the high-low scalp strategy. Obviously, there was a buy right here, but it was invalid. So no entry off the pivot scalp. And I'm going to be trying my luck right now with this high-low. What we need is we need 4 or 5 candles to pass after this high right here before we can take the buy. If it breaks past it, then that's going to be the new high, and there's not going to be an entry using the strategy right here. Looking over at the 3-minute, nothing there. Looking over at the 10-minute, this 10-minute here is probably going to close. And like I mentioned before, if this closes, this is going to be the daily entry. And this is kind of what I was looking for, because we were looking for this buy this entire morning. Price is finally making its way back to the upside. You can see right here as well, you know, when price reaches this point, perfect. All right. So let's see what's going on here. All right, so price is currently making its way up right there. If this right here closes, obviously there's going to be a buy entry using the daily strategy. Price right here touched it, so unfortunately it touched it. This is no longer going to be the high. This would not be the high right here. If it breaks, but if it goes even higher, then that's going to be the high as well. So this is no longer the high. This is now the new high. This one right here. So unfortunately, there's not going to be entry using the high-low scalp. I think the main thing that we'd probably be looking for here would probably be the daily entry right here, if it closes. But I don't think the fundamentals are confirmed yet. I mean, it's dropping a lot heavier. Before it was negative 120 points, went down to negative 100, negative 90, negative 70, now negative 60. Looking over here at retail sentiment, what I'm looking for is I'm making sure that this isn't dropping. If this starts to drop, then it's not going to go well, because it's not going to coincide with what we're looking for here. We want this to be bullish. We want this to be red or short, because we want these to go opposite so we can trade in the opposite direction. We had about 1:13 left on this candle right here of the 10-minute. The 1 minute over here, there's no entry. The new high just keeps getting established as it pushes higher. Looking over here at this line, you can see price is finally reaching that price point right there as well, right? So this is going to be key here. This is going to be very key with regard to whether price is going to push above there or if it's going to come back down. You know, just like as I reminded earlier, guys, we have no idea what's going to happen at that point. So you guys definitely want to watch your risk. So I'm not going to take this yet, guys. I'm going to let this close, and then what I'm probably going to do is I'll enter it late. And if I do, I'll let you guys know. But you know, I still do see it to be a little bit risky. I'm currently waiting for it to break above here. If it breaks above here, I want it to push above higher. But you know, just like we were discussing earlier, there's no guarantee that's going to happen, at least not yet. All right, guys. So I think that's it for the session. It's about to be 8 o'clock. I don't see any other questions here. So if you guys do have questions, you know, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. The daily right here is currently running. So if you guys want to take it, you know, take it at your own risk. You know, just expect that once it gets close to 11, it's going to be risky. So what I'll do here is I'll watch it a little later, like throughout the session. And then if I decide to take it, I'll let you guys know. But I still find it risky. The reason for it being risky is that we have FOMC coming out a little later. So maybe I'll take it right here with a small lot size, and then I'll just let it run so that if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I just took it right there with a 1 lot, but it's not very much. It's very little, small move. What I do recommend is if you guys do decide to take it, to, you know, adjust your stop loss and profit when you guys have the opportunity. So this is going to be daily full TP. And I'm going to give the updates here. So I'm going to enter it, guys, with a small lot size for it to just follow the move, because I'm just, you know, I'm kind of getting, I know I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm getting FOMO, like getting into trades today. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to follow it. You know, small lot size, whatever happens with it happens, but not necessarily, you know, too much of a risk there. Daily CP2. So you guys should never get FOMO. But if you guys do get FOMO, you know, feel free to enter with a smaller lot size. So I'm currently in the daily entry right here, guys. If I do move my stop loss and profit and just pull out early, then I'll probably do that. Otherwise, you know, I'll just hang on to it and let it just run. Once it gets close to 11 though, or, you know, an hour or 2 hours from now, I'm for sure going to move the stop loss and profit, because it is, I don't want to get caught in the whipsaw action of price. So there we go, as price continues to move up. So the reason why I decided to take this right here, the daily, was, for one, this was daily entry. We were looking for a buy this entire day, right? So we've been looking for this buy, and the buy finally came. Also, I was remembering that price was going to break above here. So when price finally broke above here, I was anticipating it to push up, right? Because this is what we were waiting for this entire morning. I was waiting for it to swing back up, and it finally did right here. The next thing that we wanted to confirm was whether price was going to continue pushing up or whether it was going to come down. The reason why I felt comfortable with this entry here was that we were looking for an entry here off the 10-minute. We also had this entry here off the, well, not really an entry, but we anticipated a bullish move off this 1 minute here. And then I was waiting for it to finally break above this high here to take this trade. So as you guys can see, I had a bunch of confluences, right? Confluence for it to push to the upside, confluence for it to push above on this right here, which was the opening price. And one of the confluences that really kind of made me want to take the trade was the retail sentiment. The fact that it was 74% short indicated that a lot of retail traders were on the short side. And then lastly, looking at the fundamentals here, it started to shift back to the green. So one last question here from Main's asking, but does it matter if it's under the pivots for the daily? It doesn't matter, because that's not one of the requirements here, Main. The requirements right here. The only thing that you're looking for is a valid K2 momentum signal. So you're just looking for the valid signal after the opening candle right here. And that's pretty much it. You don't need any trend meter. You don't need any pivots. You don't need anything. All you need is the momentum signal there. So it doesn't matter. Fahad said, I'm done for today. Lost way too much because I wasn't listening to Shawn. I'm out. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah, guys. So, just be careful. If I'm giving you guys warnings that the market's risky and you guys shouldn't trade, take that with your with the idea that the market is going to be super choppy. It's not going to be moving very smoothly at all. Let's see. Jennifer said, yeah, it's 1,500 pips for this move. This is a daily move, Jennifer. So if you're trading this, you got to make sure that you use a proper lot size, because this is a big move. This trade's supposed to move for the entire day. It's not something that hits really quickly. It could take hours, if not days, to hit this this trade. So just keep that in mind. This is a bigger move. So you want to make sure that you're using a proper lot size to withstand the move, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Another question from Donnie is asking, does the invalid momentum signal indicate market manipulation? No, it doesn't, Donnie. Sometimes it just happens where the price just gets swung back down. So that's not, I wouldn't necessarily say that's market manipulation. That's just, price getting spiked back to the downside. Like what could happen would be that price probably hit a resistance or support, and then it just bounced off it, making it an invalid signal. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions. It's about to be 8 o'clock, so I think I'm done for the day. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out on Telegram or email. Otherwise, I'll see you guys here for the next live session tomorrow. I'll also be giving you guys updates on this trade as it continues to push along. So if you guys have questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow for the next live session. So